Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my latest dive adventure, this time coming to you from the mean streets of Tampa, Florida. That's right, my boy had a bachelor party down there, and you know what? I said, I'm going to Florida. I need to get some dives in, so that's what I did. I organized this dive trip. This was actually kind of before the party started, so it worked out great. It was early in the morning. I had to wake up super early, but made it out there. I got two things to talk about really on this trip. It was supposed to be a 2-dive trip. I only ended up doing one. I'm going to get into that later. I don't want to sit here and talk for this whole time. So let's just get right into it. I'll talk when the time is right. So here's an initial look off the boat. I'm usually late. But I actually got to this dive shop early. I took an Uber from my buddy's house all the way out here. The sun was rising. It was pretty. And for once, nobody was waiting on just me. So I thought I'd pop my camera out and take some videos. Calm seas. Look at that. Not a foreshadow of what's to come. Looks great now. Yeah, we got out there, so it was super delayed. We got out to whatever site we were going to. I can't remember the site that we were going, but I do remember one of the dive instructors, or at least somebody who worked with the shop, I'm not sure if he was an instructor or not, was super pumped at our location, where we were going. He was like, man, I've dove plenty of sites in the Caribbean, or in the Gulf of Mexico. It's like, this is my favorite. And that sounded good, right? I mean, that's good. That's what you want to hear. Man, my Audacity's screwing up right now. I'm going to have to continually sideways scroll to see it. It's not auto-updating. That's really irritating, but I don't want to start this commentary over at this point. I'm going to shut up while she's talking.
Driving right now. Will and I will be acting as guides in the water to people that purchase guided dives. Anyone else is welcome to follow us. Our main concerns will be the people who purchase the guided dives. Okay, but when you first get in, the way it works on this boat, you have your air turned all the way on. We don't turn the air back a quarter, okay? We leave it all the way on. We're gonna go one at a time. The dive masters or the captain will be telling you which group is going to go. Move to the back of the boat. If you have your fins on already, shuffle. Don't try to pick your feet up like that. You'll fall over, okay? You're just going to shuffle. We're going to do a giant stride off the boat when we get in. That means just step forward, okay? Don't jump. Just step forward. Once you're in the water, there's going to be 2 lines in the water, okay? We're going to have what's called a tag line, and that's going to be on a yellow rope with a big orange buoy at the end of it that's going to stretch out behind the boat. You're going to swim over to that, hold on to it, wait for your buddy or your buddies to come to you. If you need to do a weight check, you're going to tell the dive master who's in the water, or captain who's in the water with you, who'll do our weight check if you're not sure how much weight you wear. That way, we can get you set up before you go on the dive. We also have something called a granny line. But where we're going today, our granny line is going to be a little different. It goes to the front of the boat, but we tie it on the anchor down at the bottom, okay? So you don't have to swim to the front of the boat. Just pull yourself along that granny line, save some energy. The granny line is going to take you to way in it. We want to do our safety stop 15 feet for 3 minutes. Again, some of you have a lot of experience, some of you are a little newer. Don't get freaked out about the 15 feet, okay? One, it's a safety stop, but your computers, the ones that if you rented from us or ones that you have, probably start counting down at 20 feet. Anything between 20 feet and 10 feet is going to have you off gas, okay? So if you're not right at 15, don't freak out. As long as you're not below 20 or not above 10, you're fine, okay? So, just remember, we want to do those 3 minutes, get back to the boat, 500. If there's an emergency underwater and the captain needs us all to come back, you're going to rev the engine 3 times. Or several times. Rev 3 times, stop, rev 3 times, stop. You hear that, you know you need to make your way back, come up nice and slow, like always. But it means for some reason, whether it's weather or there's a medical emergency or something, we have to go. You also might hear a dive weight being clanged against the stairs or something like that. So a lot of times there's revving plus clanging. Means we have to go. If you lose your buddy, the general rule that you learn is you make a nice slow ascent. Stay down, just don't swim around. Down there, you look around for no more than a minute. Just a circle for bubbles and everything else. You don't see them, make your nice slow ascent to the top. Hopefully your buddy is doing the same thing and you're gonna run into each other on the surface. Then if you both have a lot of air left, you can drop back down. Okay? Or you can call it a day, come back in. When you come up, to let the captain know that you are okay, it's like this, okay? Don't wave, okay? Waving means that there's a problem. So this means things are okay.
I'm going to give him to go ahead and speed up.
Yeah. If you are far away from the boat, go ahead and inflate your SMB, okay, your safety sausage. We'll come and get you when everybody's up. But you can try swimming. Oh, the other thing, there is a marine.
Woo! Man, alright. Let's, hell of a dive brief, huh? Hell of a dive brief. That guy in the front in the blue there, that ended up being my dive buddy. His name's Eric. Do a shout out to Eric real quick. He's Army vet, I believe. Ooh, I should know that. Certainly Armed Services vet. He went to the Middle East. He told me, I don't want to get into his business or anything. He told me he got injured, came back. I didn't ask what happened. He didn't tell. But hats off to Eric. Thank you for your service. Fantastic man. I was lucky I got to die with him. And here we go. We finally got down there. Look at that starfish. That's fantastic. He's moving pretty fast. I didn't know they could move that fast. So there's a couple things that I mentioned I want to talk about before, not before, in the earlier segments. So this was supposed to be a 2-dive day. First thing we got out there, the surface, the waves were atrocious. So we sat out there, we were going out and out and out. They had this dive site of mine, which was a solid 45, 50 minutes away at least, if not further. I have no idea what you're pointing out there, Eric. I've looked at this video 2 or 3 times. No idea what you're pointing at. But yeah, we got out there and the waves were just tossing the boat. I've never been on that bad of a surface fluctuation in my life, from what I can remember. And the seasickness came to 3 people, I think. There was 3 people who were just having a bad day. If nothing else, this is when I learned, hey, I don't really get seasick. There was one moment where I felt maybe just a tad queasy. And, honestly, looking back, it might have just been in my head. But yeah, I never got nauseous, never puked. I'm sorry for the people who do. I don't know. I have been seasick before when I was really young. We were in the Florida Keys on a vacation between 2nd and 3rd grade, I think. My parents were diving at the time, actually. That's how long ago that was. And I remember getting seasick on the boat. I was just snorkeling. man, I don't know. But since that day, you know, knock on wood, I have not gotten seasick. But so we went out there, and we were waiting for hours. And I'm like, I'm trying to get to a bachelor party. You know, this was supposed to be a couple morning dives, get in, get out, get to my boy's place, and start throwing out. You know. But it didn't happen that way. We sat out in the ocean for a very long time, and I was at the point like, man, we need to stage a mutiny because we need to either dive or go back to shore. You know, what are we doing? We're just waiting here. But we waited. We finally went to another dive site that was closer to shore, I think, because they had. So this particular dive outfit also does fishing and, you know, like most of them do. I have no idea what that circle is. I think Eric tried to pick it up. Yeah, I'm not sure. Let me look at. I keep how many videos I have left in mine too. Alright, I got a few left. But yeah, so the captain was on the radio with other boats that were all around the Gulf. You know, what are the waves like? What are the waves like? And so they finally got the idea. Let's go to a closer in dive site. And this is that one. And again, what is that? Is that a? Did I stumble on like a saltwater snake or something? What is that? I have no. I should have gone down and touched it at least. Is that artificial? I don't know what that is. What is that? It's like a spring underwater. It looks like a snake. I don't know. But I got down there, and this was one of my worst dives. I don't know. I remember I felt like I couldn't catch my breath. I felt like I was burning through air, and I didn't feel it. I felt like that because I was burning through air. There was something wrong with me this dive. I don't know what it was, but I was in bad shape on this dive. I felt like my regulator might have been leaking a little bit. I don't know. But I was out of breath. I did get separated from Eric. I got to the surface and took off my wetsuit. First of all, I was shivering. Oh man, look at that shell. That's a pretty animal. I wish you could find something like that washed up on the beach. Look at that sucker. I got out of the water. I was shivering violently. I was very cold. And you can see from the temperature profile in the beginning, it was only 70. It was low 70s water, which, you know, there's a difference between water temperature and air temperature. But I had a 3 mil wetsuit on plus a 1.5 mil pullover. And look at him. He's just fantastic. Hey, buddy. And man, I was cold. Look at this sand dollar. This is the biggest sand dollar I've ever seen in my life. Wow. Look at that thing. Incredible. Good find, Eric. That was incredible. That was really incredible. I think it's probably dead because it's white. Because the ones that are alive are green or brown. And, you know, I'm pretty sure that thing is dead. But he put it down. I think he put it down. He did. He dropped it. It's not on camera. I'm pretty sure he dropped it. But I had no idea sand dollars even got that big. But yeah, I got out of the water and I was very cold. I took my wetsuit off and I was breaking out into hives. There was something wrong with me that day. I don't know what it was. But I called. I punted on the second dive, which was really unfortunate. Look at that starfish. Sea star. Does anybody know the difference between a starfish and a sea star? I sure don't. But yeah, I was kind of upset with myself. It's the first time in my entire life that I can think of where, I mean, there's been a few mutual decisions where both of us have been like, I don't feel like diving again. But this was the first time that I can remember where I just punted on the second dive. There was something wrong with me. I don't know what it was. I couldn't catch my breath underwater. I was very cold in not very cold water. I came up, took my wetsuit off, and I was breaking out into hives everywhere. And those three things combined, what is he pointing at? I don't know, Eric. I hope it... I feel bad. Oh, starfish. Yeah, sea star, whatever. Man, I hope his name is Eric. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm trying to remember. I'm doing this like 2 months later. 2 months later. And the reason for that is, I tore my Achilles at the end of March. a week after this trip. Not even a week after this trip. I think I flew back home on Sunday, toured on Thursday. And so I've been dealing with that for, since March 26th or whenever it was. I haven't had a whole lot of time for video commentary. And plus, I signed up for class, so I've been busy. So that's why this commentary is coming late. This is the last video. What was I talking about? Yeah, I came up. I was covered in hives. Yeah, I was worried, like, maybe I need to go to the hospital or something. But as soon as I took the wetsuit off, they started clearing up. So I don't know what it was. I don't know if there was just something wrong with me that day. If I've got some kind of problem internally that's been there for a long time and it just got exposed when you do extreme things to your body, like dive and get this neoprene pressurized on your skin. This was a relatively new wetsuit too. It's the same one I wore in Hawaii, and I didn't have a problem there, so I don't know. I think there was just something going on with me that day. And I punted on the second dive, which was really unfortunate because we went to a really awesome spot, and the captain and the dive instructors were talking it up the entire time. That was the one we originally went to, and the waves were so bad that we left and came to this one. And then we went back to that one, but at that point I was, like I said, I just got out of the water and I felt lucky to be alive. And in that circumstance, in that moment, I just felt like it was bad news bears to go back under the water. I made the right call. I really did. That's what they tell you in the class. Like, if you ever feeling bad, something's not right, you're feeling off, don't push it. Just call it. And I think my regulator was leaking a little bit too or something. I felt like I was breathing in, not water, but it was just raspy with the water in the regulator, vibrating in the airflow. There was just something wrong. Something wrong in that whole dive. I don't know what it was. Maybe a lot of little factors added up. And on top of the whole thing, I lost my buddy. And, this visibility is not that bad. You can see it. It's probably, like I said, like the dive brief said, it's probably about 20 feet, maybe 30 feet. And, I don't know how I got separated. Every time you lose your buddy, you don't know how it happens. Because you feel like, in your mind, they're right there. And then you turn and look, and they're gone. Every single time. You're like, what? How did that happen? And like I said, I have no idea how it happened. Because he was right there. And then I turned and looked, and he was gone. And I'm sure his story would be exactly the same as mine. But, at that point, that was the most uncomfortable I've felt underwater in a long time. Because I've been doing this for a while now, since, when did I get certified? May? There's another sea star. I got certified in May of 2019, I think. So, wow, we're working on 4 years now. Like, almost 4 years to the month right now. I've done over 100 dives. And I'm, like to think I'm getting pretty comfortable under the water. I did my 100th dive in Hawaii. It was the manta ray dive that wasn't meant to be recorded. If you watch my Hawaii dive videos, you know why. Thought I forgot my batteries, didn't really forget them. They were there in the boat the whole time. But point being is, I'm certainly no dive master, but I've been doing this for a little while and feel like I'm pretty comfortable doing it. And I don't know, this dive, the whole time I felt very uncomfortable. I was cold, I could not catch my breath. I felt like I was out of breath the entire time I was under the water. And you can see, I'm not even swimming that hard, so. And then I came up, and I was covered in these hives. There was something wrong. I don't know if I'm allergic to neoprene. I don't know if there was something wrong with me that day, and it just, became manifest with the stress of diving. Maybe some piss in the wetsuit. I don't know. I don't know. I'm upset I called the second dive because they talked they talked it up so bad. They're like, yeah, we've been seeing a turtle down there all week, and there's this huge bait ball of fish. See, look, there's Eric. Just look at him. He's right there. I don't know how I lost him. He was all over the place too, man. He was, I will say this, he was moving faster than me. Look at him. He's like turning upside down. I don't know, my regulator does not breathe well when I turn looking at the surface of the water, so I try to keep my back to the surface, head down. I probably need a new regulator. Like I said, I've been doing this for 4 years now. When I was sold that regulator, well, not sold, but recommended. So my good friend in the Boeing Dive Club recommended that regulator. He's like, this will be a good starting regulator for you. It's like, okay, and I actually found it on sale. So, no, I didn't find it. He sent me an email, said you should buy this regulator. Essentially, what he said. And, you know, what do I know? I'm just starting out, so I trusted his judgment and bought it for like $300 maybe. Maybe not quite 300. I can't quite remember now. It was not more than 400. And it has been good. It's been great. You know, it's environmentally sealed. I'm still alive after probably, I don't know, certainly 80 dives at least on it. I can't quite remember exactly when I got it, but it's been good for me. But yeah, it's weird. Like I said, if I'm swimming along with my back to the surface, all's good. But if I invert and my back's to the bottom and my stomach is to the surface, it is very hard to breathe off that thing, and I don't know why. I suspect I probably just need a better one. And it has no, I can't remember the name of it, but it has no manual adjustment to like adjust the strength of the pull. So like you want a sweet spot where like it obviously doesn't free flow in the water, but you also don't want to have to suck in hard to get air out of it. So there's a happy medium there somewhere, and a lot of the upper echelon regulators come with a manual knob that you can turn to adjust that, whatever it's called. I don't know the technical term for it, but it's basically how hard you have to inhale to get some air out of it. And it should be as easy as possible without free flowing in the water. Mine, yeah, I think that's adjustable. It looks like maybe that's adjustable, but not. There's no knob for it, so that has to happen in the dive shop when you're getting it serviced. Yeah, mine's come back a couple times where I think it's a little too loose, and if I go inverted, it'll start free flowing. I don't know. So I try not to go inverted either. I really should get a regulator where I'm comfortable in any position underwater, without having to breathe super hard, without leaking air. I don't think that's too much to ask as a scuba diver, especially as long as I've been doing this. So yeah, I'm gonna start a Kickstarter fund. Oh, who's this? That's Eric on the left, man. So we did. Have I mentioned this already? We got separated. Yeah, I mentioned that. So we're getting to the end here. I don't know if I have video of him actually gone, but I'll tell you what. I was honestly. Eric, I'm sorry. I promise I didn't do this on purpose, but I was actually kind of relieved when we got separated and it was time to go to the surface. Because I was off this dive. This was not a good dive for me. So he was gone. Yeah, we made it to the surface about the same time. And I'm not going to tell Patty this, but he said he did not have a computer, so he was relying on mine. And so he kind of guessed on 3-minute stop going to the surface, but. All right, I got 20 minutes left, or 20 seconds left. I got 20 seconds left. About to wrap this up. Thanks for watching. He's asking Harry. I was blown through air too. This was not a good dive for me, but hope you enjoyed the Tampa diving. There's not going to be much on my channel in the near future because I need to rehab my Achilles. But be patient. The adventures are coming.